doing this? We're doing this. Oh my gosh.
We're doing this in 3.
Oh my god.
2. 1.
Hello and welcome to episode 111 of the GameBrew podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious beers. Oh my god, I'm not recording at all.
Oh, me neither. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
That would have been terrible. That would have been terrible.
I have the master going, so.
Wow.
Hello and welcome to episode 111 of the GameBrew podcast, the bi-weekly video game podcast where we sip delicious beers, discuss video games, and wait patiently for our video game daddies to drop delicious treats. What is
Wow.
Delicious video game treats.
Nom nom nom. I am your host, Ian Kazuya Richard, and this week I am joined by Chris King Wrights.
Am I a jaguar? Am I a man? No one knows.
I'm a manguire.
Dan Yoshimitsu Rats.
I've got like weird tentacles and like slicey swords and whatnot or whatever. I don't know.
You don't have tentacles. You're kind
Or
of
is it like just big
robot.
scarves? I'm a robot?
Yeah, you're a robot.
Yeah, are you thinking of Valdo?
Am I the only one who played Tekken?
I mean, I played a lot of Tekken.
Listen, all I know is that Ian throws people into volcanoes a bunch. That's all.
It's true. It's true. And Allison Nita Van Devender.
Finished already? Please.
Oh wow, that
She
does
knows
not
the
have
thing.
any double entendres.
You know, okay, so here's the thing. I was like thinking about her winning phrases, and it's like, it's that one or like, is it past your bedtime? It's like all of hers are like really like questionable.
Like, okay, yeah, we need.
Or
to
she just like grunts a lot. So
we
like,
need to do a show about misogyny in video gaming real bad. But this week instead, we're going to be talking about
All the big news to come out of E3. But first, it's time for a beer.
Guys, I'm real excited about this beer to share with you.
Pop. I did it.
Chris, what
Mine's already
are we consuming this week?
So the plan here was that we were all going to get video game themed beers because I thought that was pretty easy to do. It was less easy to do than I thought. But
Unless you're Ian. Ian got one.
unless
I
you're
got
Ian. But
Apparently
I got
this is
something
the-
that I'm pretty happy about. It's called Pils-Boh Baggins.
Oh my god. And it's the 111th podcast.
Oh, it's the 111st podcast. Oh,
Perfect.
God, I couldn't be better.
only Lord of the Rings people will know.
So do you have an unquenchable thirst from scaling the slopes of Mordor? Satisfy it with the refreshing Pils-Boh Baggins, our first ever Bohemian Pilsner, brewed with Pilsner and Vienna malts for a crisp, clean drinkability and plus 5 charisma. Fermented
wow.
colder than the peaks of the Misty Mountains with a traditional Czech lager yeast, then hopped exclusively with Lublin for a delicate, floral, spicy, noble hop character.
Wow.
Drink responsibly because you have a long journey ahead of you.
Wow.
That's great.
Wow. They nailed it. They nailed everything about it. And we're going to have to I'll have to take a picture of this art because
Yes, please do.
It's
It is.
very reminiscent of the art that was from the original Hobbit book.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
I see there's a smog in there, looks like.
Yes.
Okay, smog.
It's excellent.
Wow. Wow. And what does it taste like?
Anyways, yeah, the beer. So it's very much like a Bohemian Czech style Pilsner. It's not as
So it's a little funky.
It's a little funky, but not as funky as like a Pilsner Urquell, I think is what it's called. So it's not as funky as that, but it's like an homage to that, but like is way more drinkable in a way. It doesn't have like that bitterness that
cool.
sits on your tongue. Kind of like a modern remix to the Czech Pilsner. So it's pretty good.
Nice.
Chuggability is pretty high, as are most beers for me, I guess. I guess take that with a grain of salt, but yeah, no, it's good, and I mean, I pretty much got it for the logo,
For the name.
not disappointed.
What brewery did it come from?
Crooked Crab Brewing Company.
Crooked Crab.
That
From
must
Maryland,
be a
of
Maryland
course.
brewing company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Allison, welcome back after a little bit of a hiatus.
Yes, hi. I'm sorry, everyone. Everything's been crazy. Glad to be back.
It's good to have you back.
Is there something floating in your drink?
Okay, yeah. That's a cherry.
Yeah.
I was like, what is
That's
that?
a cherry.
Okay. So here's what I did.
All right.
I went online. There's a website called the Drunken Moogle, and I think everyone should know that.
I've been there. It's a great website.
So I picked something video game related from that. And there was one called the Dratini.
Oh, now I get it.
So
Single red
it's supposed to have a little. Well, the cherry isn't even supposed to be in there. It's supposed to have whipped cream on top, but it didn't have whipped cream, so I just threw a cherry because I wanted to. I don't know. It's a moonshine cherry. That's all I was gonna say. So I don't know what that'll do.
Is it kind of like a blue motorcycle? It looks like a blue motorcycle.
No, it's gin, hypnotic, and blue curacao.
Okay.
It's similar, I guess.
Hey, I mean, to me, it looks more like a beverage, but I guess if it looks like a motorcycle to you, Chris. Then
there's a drink called a blue motorcycle, Dan. Come on.
Don't be silly.
It's really fun. I mean, I don't know. It's okay. It's weird. It's more aesthetic, right?
Yeah, I think the Drunken Moogle website is really the big revelation from this particular episode.
Yeah,
I guess that's
really
like a thing. Like when I went to the Bethesda event at PAX last year in 2020, which was weird that was a thing that happened before pandemic. But anyways, they had like all these different Doom themed and Fallout themed drinks there, which was really cool.
Yeah, honestly, guys,
that's a cool thing.
I might just pull all of my drinks from this website from now on.
And just keep
they're
going.
all so fun.
You're going to have a lot of random weird liquors. That's what's going to end up happening.
I know, it's true. But I already had blue curacao and hypnotic for another drink I had done. So, and some gin leftovers. So this one was actually perfect because I've been doing random drinks and this one worked out. But like there's a Buffy the Vampire Slayer drink. There's Beetlejuice and Lydia. Like I don't know. This website's very cool. I'm interested and I'm probably going to live in it for a bit just to have fun making some of these drinks for the podcast. So
yeah, I'm pumped. This is great. Oh my God, Palm of Power from Hades. What? There's a Hades mocktail. Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Okay, it'll be fun. Go look later.
We'll do some things. Okay, Dan, what do you got?
I'm drinking one. This is from a local brewery called Levante Brewing Company. I've had stuff from them before. They're awesome. But it's called Aimless Ambler. West Coast IPA. It's a West Coast IPA. I got it because it reminded me of walking simulators. Because it's kind of like aimlessly ambling around. And also, if you look on the label, there's this guy who's just kind of walking, and he's got his smartphone out, and he's just kind of looking at it.
He's like a hipster Alan Wake.
Kind of, yeah. So, and it's a West Coast style IPA. It's all right. I think this brewing company does a lot of things better than this.
What brewing company was it? I'm sorry.
Levante. It's a local brewer that I really like a lot of their stuff. This one's just all right. It kind of like says it's a West Coast IPA, and then
they have a beer called Tiny Tickle.
They do. They do. They have a beer called Tickle Parts, which is really good.
Oh my gosh! Okay.
I don't know why that made me so happy,
Tickle.
but I like it.
But it's good. It's a West Coast IPA. It tastes like a West Coast IPA. It's not. It doesn't make me have any crazy revelations. So it's just all right.
I am drinking Pilsnerd, which has this cool sort of like 8-bit aesthetic on the label. It is brewed by the Brothers Craft Brewing Company, which is on the north side of Harrisonburg.
Love them.
Brothers is very solid.
I've heard they're good. This one is just okay. I'm kind of on like the same thing as Dan. I don't know if I just got a weird bottling, but like a Pilsner to me just needs, I don't know, like I want it to be either really straight up the road or for it to have like a reference outside of a Pilsner. So I know that they're going for something different. This is just like, it doesn't quite nail all of the things that I feel like a Pilsner needs to be. Like it tastes a little bit like Like I poured it out of a bottle, but it tastes like it came out of a can. I don't know what's up with that. Like I'm just getting like a metal taste. So maybe I just got like a bad or not so good batch. But
when was the bottling date?
It's probably on the cap, huh?
No, it might be on the bottom.
Pour it out.
I poured it out. Oh no, it's all over the place.
February 9th.
Okay, so it's not that long ago.
No, it's not that long ago. But you know, it's definitely very drinkable. It's not bitter. It has a lot of good flavors. It just also has some flavors where I'm like, I don't know if this is a Pilsner, y'all.
Huh.
Interesting.
It's all right.
I like that take. I don't know if anybody. I know we have a lot of Harrisonburg area listeners, so odds are pretty good. A lot of people have tried this. I'm interested to know if anyone else has an opinion that has tried it out there that's listening.
I've had it, but I can't remember anything specific about it. But
so
generally,
I guess that
I like yeah. Generally, I like their beer. So
Yeah,
Okay.
and like local business, go buy their shit. But
yeah.
But I'm looking forward to trying other things in their catalog.
Speaking of that, I like that we all picked local things.
Yeah, that's
we
cool.
did.
For each
Except
of us.
me,
Oh,
but
that's
like
kinda cool.
whatever.
The
I can't.
We're local to the Moogles.
There's some around.
They're my home.
It's like, it's just whenever you're.
Yes, it's true.
So we do have a ton of news to share from E3, but before we do that, let's talk about what we've been doing this week. I think quickly, because we did a lot of stuff last week in terms of what we've been playing. So perhaps, Daniel, you can start us off here.
I will. I'm going to go fast. So I started playing. I haven't finished anything. Sorry. But I did start playing Yakuza Like a Dragon, which has anyone? None of you have played any of the Yakuza games. I ask every time.
Resident
I've been meaning
Yakuza,
to.
Coffee has.
Coffee's the best, and I was talking to him about this a little bit. But the Yakuza games are basically like beat 'em ups. It's like a beat 'em up, sort of like a punchy Yakuza game. But that drawing point of the Yakuza games is not the punchiness. The punchiness is really good. The story is even better because it's like watching these like really intense Asian dramas that exist, but it's a video game and you get to do some of the stuff. In this one, it's kind of interesting because it's not a punchy beat 'em up. It's a turn-based RPG beat 'em up. Because the main character in the beginning says he really likes Dragon Quest. And so the whole thing kind of turns into his hero's quest, and it's turn-based. So you still get to pick like, are you going to attack? Are you going to use an item? Are you going to call somebody to come in? There's like all these summons that you can do. There's magic attacks. It's really funny. And it's also super moving, which is the kind of the whole thing about the Yakuza games.
Okay.
Because it's about,
It kind of reminds me of like what Obsidian did with the South Park games. Just kind of like making it like a funny game, and they use the structure of like an RPG / turn-based thing, and then kind of just building on that. Like I don't know why that
kind of because it's kind of like they were like, what do we want the game to be? And they're like, well, we want it to be Yakuza, but we want it to be turn-based. Here's how we make that work. And then and they did, and it's really cool. There's like a point where you get like your main weapon, because you can have different classes for each person eventually. And you see there's just a bat embedded in the ground, and so you and your two friends go up and try and pull it out, and then you end up pulling it out, and it's like this bat with like chain link wrapped around it, and it's just like, it's like, oh yeah, I could use this just like a sword, like the hero would in Dragon Quest. And then you do, and it's great. It's so good. I highly recommend it if you're a Yakuza fan and you haven't played it, which I doubt.
Also, the trailer, the first trailer on Steam has at least like 10 seconds dedicated to a lobster in battle, which is just super exciting.
Yes, that's probably one of the friends that you can call to help you at some point.
Oh my god, that's great. Okay, fabulous. What else, Dan?
The only other thing is I completed the battle pass for the last season of Warzone in Call of Duty. So
worth your time?
I mean, yeah. I like, it's nice because I like playing Call of Duty, and it kind of gives you something to shoot for, you know?
Ching.
Is that what you were aiming at?
I wasn't aiming
there, Dan?
I'm like, I love it.
I've got some bullet points if you want to do more puns.
He was gunning for that one.
Oh my god.
I missed this. I'm glad I'm here.
That's fine because I'm gonna shoot myself.
Don't do
No, I'm
that.
just kidding. I'm not gonna do that.
Just don't.
I won't. But I mean, it was good. I think the whole like season 3 was 80s action hero themed, which was really cool. Like you could buy John McClane and the Rambo skins as like these battle packs. I bought John McClane, of course, because he's the best.
Of course, because he's the best. Yeah.
And now they're kind of just back to the usual, which I thought that was really cool. And then now they're just kind of back to the normal sort of season 4 is like there's new things that are happening. There's new events. Stuff's kicking off and there's new guns and stuff. So keep you updated.
Right on. Chris, what else?
I finished Spider-Man.
Nice. Blah, 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 blah.
2018. Boo, boo, boo. Really good. Really enjoyed it. I'm starting to look at the DLCs, but I also started Miles Morales, which I know is kind of a quick little jaunt. Yeah, no, the really solid games. Like, I mean, I talked about it before. Traversal's great. Combat's really great. Got me in the feels at the end too.
Oh,
I haven't
whoa.
finished
Wasn't
it,
expecting
so.
that.
What without spoilers, like what about it got you in the feels? Was it like
It would be a spoiler if I
parenting
said.
thing or a friends thing? Or
It would spoil it.
Okay, all right.
Dan, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I don't because I haven't finished it because it's one of those
okay.
games where I
Okay.
keep going back to it and then there's too many things to do, so I keep doing all the other things. I never
tons
finish
of
the
things.
game.
I had to just kind of go through it because I need to catch up to you, which I'm doing rapidly. I had like a very
There was a substantial like
had a
dividend.
drought.
You're
Yeah.
coming through. This is honestly just the who can complete more games, Dan or Chris competition at this.
Well, yep, that's true. That's true. I mean, Rocket League.
I think two.
Allison,
Tell you what, if you get
oh,
into
sorry.
it, if you get into you know whatever platinum or whatever with Rocket League, you can get 5 points.
You get 5 points.
Listen,
for that,
I'm
baby.
Diamond 2, Chris. Platinum.
All right,
Oh,
5
wow.
points for you.
5 points for you, baby. Put a on there.
Yeah. So next season I have to shoot for champ, which is like, oh geez.
I bought more DLCs for Hearts of Iron
Because of course you did.
because I'm going down that rabbit hole, and because Tyler was tired of playing Hearts of Iron, we played Total War 3 Kingdoms instead. But,
Way to change it up there. Good work.
Breaking
yeah.
the mold.
hey,
Breaking the mold.
you know, there you go.
There you go. Okay. Allison, did you get to play any video games this week, or were you just
Really?
No, I was crazy. I mean, last week I streamed a little, nothing new. I played Among Us with the community. That was a lot of fun.
That was probably fun.
Amon Gus.
Amon
Yeah.
Guess.
I have to say, like, I give that game a lot of shit, clearly, but I do think it's just fun and easy to play, and like we had a bunch of people who had never played before, and it's so
fun.
easy to just kind of pick up and learn. And just goof, and people who say they're terrible at lying end up being the best at it. So never believe them. But no, that was a lot of fun. But really, I've just been so busy. I haven't been able to play, and it's sad.
You did get to come and play a little bit of Fall Guys with me on Tuesday.
It's true. We did play Fall
nice.
Guys, but that's not a new game, but it's so fun.
It's just fun. Whenever you just want to be a bean racing other beans to
Right.
the end
Doing
of a
bean
bean
stuff.
course, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's I
Until you
think
get tired of it, and then you're like, being there.
I think what I can say about that game is, and Dan and I both experienced it. We both took a break for a while from the game, and coming back to it, like the way they keep it fresh is really cool to me. The consistent map changes and everything, so you don't get too comfortable. I
even
really
familiar
like
maps.
that.
Even familiar
Yeah.
maps, they just add just random smashy bits too. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, you were good at this before. Guess what? Now there's a big hammer. Take
Right.
that.
So if anybody like just wants something easy to pick up, fun, and consistently changing so you have something new and fresh, I cannot suggest Fall Guys enough. It seems like such a silly game, but it's so enjoyable. It's easy to pick up and put down and just play for a little bit with friends.
Yes, indeed.
really suggest it. The changes they've made have been all great.
Nice. Very cool. I have been playing nothing of note, really. Hearthstone and Children of Morta, which my suspicion about Children of Morta being great couch co-op turned out to be absolutely true. And I think Marianne and I are going to try to bwap because it's moving along now, and it's a super fun game.
Yes. Who's your character of choice?
I love variety. I'm a variety guy, so I bounce around a lot. If I had to pick a favorite, it might be Kevin.
Kevin is the kung fu expert.
The knives guy.
Oh, the knives kid. He's great.
The kung fu guy is Mark.
That's Mark. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do they have such like basic sounding names?
Because they're just people.
Because they do. They're the persons.
They're just like they're they're just like regular, like it's funny because they explain in the story, it's like there's just a family of people. His name's Mark, his name's Kevin. That's just what it is.
All right.
It's great. Here we go. 2021's digital E3 was chock full of trailers, gameplay exposés, hardware releases, and more stuff. And we're going to break a lot of it down. Well, some of it anyway. I want to start with Starfield because it's something that I'm super excited about. Obviously, it's the new big RPG from Bethesda. Did you all watch the trailer for this at all?
Yeah, it showed nothing.
It showed
but
absolutely
I'm still super
nothing.
excited for it.
I mean,
they described it as a Han Solo simulator, and I am down.
Yeah.
They also said about it, which I think is the best, is that they said it's going to be very long and and quite a lot.
Right. Like Skyrim in space. Yeah, go ahead.
Can I burst everyone's bubble who's excited
Burst
about
it.
this game?
First it.
Are you going to say what I was going to say?
I don't know. It looked very generic.
As
Sure.
far as what we know, all we saw was some space guy things.
Yeah, that's kind of. I mean,
I like Bethesda games, so I'm probably gonna
right?
be
Are we
fine.
just so starved for attention from Bethesda that this is enough?
I told you, when Daddy Games gives us sweet treats, we gotta just say num num num, Daddy.
I want to get everyone's head in the same place.
But I mean,
Maybe this
they've
is
got
not
Microsoft money now.
They do have Microsoft.
They got
money.
the Microsoft money. They're not trying to be bought anymore, so it's not all about just making money. They're actually hopefully going to be making games that are good.
I was going to say, I do have one tiny little teensy little concern about this game.
Okay.
It's built on a new engine, which
Thank God.
which we haven't seen from Bethesda yet. And Bethesda games at the best of times are a little bit buggy, which is to say very buggy when they come out. So with the new engine, I'm afraid. I'm hopeful, but I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, this is going to go one of two ways, right? This is either what they need because their engine before, clearly they didn't understand it.
They understood it.
Modders understood it very well, also.
They understood all of it. They just didn't want to get rid
It
of
was
it.
a disaster for a super long time. Well,
I know.
it was just like old. It's old.
They didn't understand the
It's old.
problem.
Yeah.
That's what the real problem and want to address it. So I'm glad that they're doing this. And maybe we'll get some great new, like, horse floating in air memes out of it or something. Like, it's going to be good. It'll be
I'd
fine.
be concerned if there are horses floating
In
air.
space.
In space.
You should be concerned. Horses don't belong floating in space.
That's what I'm
Hey,
saying.
who are
I'd be
you?
concerned.
Who are you to
Fix
tell?
horses.
Who are
We
you
don't
to
know
tell
this world.
horses where they cannot be? Listen, if Roach wants to be in space, he can be in space. It's fine.
Yeah. I think the other big thing to mention here is that there is a very possible, like, maybe we'll see, but a nod toward Skyrim 6 possibly being set in Hammerfell. Anybody else see anything about this?
Oh yeah,
Just me?
something about the shape of islands and stuff.
Yeah, on a little like scratch out kind of on the console.
I don't know. I'm
So
not
we'll
even
see.
thinking.
It's
I'm not
pretty.
even trying to think about Elder Scrolls 6 because
They're not trying to think about
I'll be
Elder
40
Scrolls.
when it comes
Well,
out.
yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
much older when it comes out.
We'll be lucky if we're 40.
Back in my day, I played Skyrim in college.
I played Skyrim over 10 years on 5 different consoles.
I remember when
honestly,
Daggerfall came out on PC. Yeah, that's not good. It's not a
I
good
played
joke.
Morrowind.
Look, guys, we'll all be Shirley Curry playing
Morrowind's
the new Skyrim. It'll be fine.
Also, Morrowind Morrowind just came out on Xbox Game Pass, so you can play Morrowind again if you want to.
Why would you play that on Xbox?
I don't know. You just
The only
might.
way to play that game is with mods.
All right. Let's move on. Speaking of other sort of like sci-fi things, we got to look at the new Metroid game, which is super exciting. I don't know if anybody else is excited, but I'm excited.
I'm excited.
I'm kind of excited for it.
I'm interested. I'm intrigued that they're sending it back to 2D.
I'm super happy that they're doing what they're doing. I get the feeling that they tried to do a 3D Metroid. Remember how they had to can it and like restart development?
Well,
and were like,
they
"No,
had
no,
done them,
Let's
and they
just
were
do
great.
what we know.
Well,
but I know. But the last Metroid Prime obviously was
The
less,
new
like,
Metroid
big
Prime.
set.
It was awesome.
Right. But I think whatever the follow up was probably didn't pan out for that. But I like the look
fine.
of this. What do you guys think about the like stealth, like avoidance, like alien isolation-y mechanics of it?
I am less excited about that
I
because
think-
I don't like feeling that way.
I think that's a little bit less. I think the only thing that really makes me go, oh, cool about this is that you finally aren't constrained to like locking your shooting into a specific direction. Like it has free aiming. So that's a
Oh,
little
cool.
bit,
Yeah,
so
that's good.
That's
a
cool.
little bit better.
I also so a couple of thoughts that I had. That mechanic where you're like sort of afraid of that super scary robot could lead to a really cool like power curve, like good power arc, like feeling like super scared of it at the beginning and then sort of like gaining a little bit of power over it sort of in the middle, and then at the end you're just like, whatever, robot, I'm way cooler than you are, blam blam.
Well, from what I can tell about that whole like the scary evil robots that you can't kill, is that it's basically going to be like a run section, run from this thing until you get to this point where you get the thing and then you shoot it. Like it's basically like it's chasing you for a certain amount of time through a certain environment. Then you get to the biggest bomb and then you shoot it with the biggest bomb and it's dead. Like I feel like it's going to be more gimmicky about like get to here to get this thing than like which is a gameplay mechanic, which is fine. It's just like it doesn't. I don't think they're going to take leaps and strides to make it alien isolation-y.
But another part of me is like, yeah, like Metroid as like leaning a little bit more into like the horror side of it could actually be super cool, and we saw a little bit of that in Prime Land. So I see what they're getting at. It's just that like 2D horror is a little bit tough.
It is.
I used that was my favorite genre, but
2D horror?
yeah, it was like I guess a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like so stuff like that like really builds up my feels, and I have a soft spot for it. So I don't know. Yeah, I get excited when I see things that used to be done in a new way. So I'm excited to see how this goes, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. Where to go next? Let's talk. Well, let's just stick with the sci-fi theme for now. Outer Worlds 2. Anybody?
The most self-aware trailer. That was the best self-aware trailer I've ever seen.
The trailer. That was everything. I don't even know if I want the game, but the trailer made me want the game. You know what I mean?
This is another example of like well, yes, but also Microsoft pouring money into good ideas.
Yeah. Especially because Outer Worlds was like a sleeper hit. Like and
it was also like a AA game.
Yeah, because it was Obsidian, which is like who did New Vegas, right? Fallout.
They did New Vegas. They done a lot of stuff,
but it's like
a lot of good stuff too.
They did they're solid for RPG stuff.
Yeah, but that's just it. It's like it was an RPG, so people were just kind of like, oh, it wasn't shootery or super explodey, but it was a really good RPG. I love that game.
Yeah,
So-
I need to play it still. It's on my list of things that like it never quite gets to the price that I want it to on sales.
It's on Xbox Game Pass.
I don't care about Xbox Game Pass.
You should. It's a thing.
I don't care.
But
I'd like to own my things, even though I don't technically own them.
It's really funny. It was really funny, and I can't wait for more of like that sort of world. Just like in Fallout, there's so much more to explore that they can, and I'm excited to do that.
Yeah, I love that the direction they took with the trailer seems right, because they're like, we're not showing you anything, but we're at E3, so I guess here's some stuff.
The only thing the artist did render is the title.
Sticking with sci-fi just a little bit more, Halo Infinite got some announcements and some gameplay, I think. Did we see gameplay from Halo Infinite? Is that a lie?
From the multiplayer, I think.
Okay.
There was it was probably cinematics from the game, but
But let's be real, the multiplayer is what people are caring about anyways at this point. So
I feel like that's all people care about.
Also, it's free.
Yeah, free to play multiplayer.
So I guess I'm going to be playing Halo Infinite.
Heck yeah, dude. I will get down with some Halo.
Do you all have opinions about the art style for Halo Infinite? Because that was a big concern before E3, and now seems to have not been a concern at E3. So I'm like, okay, we're okay now? We're good, I guess?
Well, you mean like it's a little bit, it looks like not as technical as
it's a little bit more cartoony than the more recent Halo games, sort of referencing back to Halo 1 and Halo 2 instead of Halo 3, Halo 4.
Honestly, I think once it got to the Halo 4s and 5s and there was another one after that, but those, honestly, it was nice to have all the technical stuff and all the cool flashy effects, but also it should be more about the gameplay, especially with Halo, because it's always kind of been the OG multiplayer shooter space alien boy, you know.
I just really appreciate, in typical Microsoft fashion, they don't know how to count again.
What do you mean? Oh, Infinite?
Infinite. They were just Infinite.
Whatever number.
We
I don't care.
add numbers, but it is done. Numbers are done.
Oh, that's great. That's really fabulous. The next one's
across the board. Operating systems.
The next one's probably going to be called
Consoles.
Halo X or something. We're all going to just be okay, well, I don't even know. The other big exciting sci-fi thing that we saw was Ubisoft's Avatar game, which I know we're all just waiting slack-jawed for another announcement about.
Who's
I forgot.
Man, you know what's a great IP that we really need to make into a video game? Avatar.
So if
it was Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yes.
Yeah, maybe. But I have this opinion that this game could have been great. I just think they're doing it wrong. I think right now it could be great. This game could be Ark in the Avatar world and be amazing, and I think flourish. But they're going with the whole war theme instead of maybe this open world you exist in. I think just living in Pandora as one of the Avatar,
Na'vi.
the Na'vi, thank you, I couldn't remember, would be really fun in an Ark style game. But if we're not getting that, I'm not interested.
Well, it's Ubisoft, so instead we're getting Assassin's Creed.
Climb this tree.
Right.
Assassin's Creed Na'vi, you know?
How is that the choice? That's the weird part to me.
Well, good thing it'll be free to play, because they're not making pay to play games anymore. Ubisoft, what happened? You were supposed to be the chosen one.
Yeah,
They were never the chosen one.
They were never the chosen one.
I think they put out some good shit. But
They
then
did,
just
but
put
they were
out
never
the same
was
shit.
Yeah. They found a formula that worked, and they just kept doing it. And I enjoy that formula. I don't know. They're making some weird choices right now.
They're like a sophomore in high school. They're figuring it out.
They're me in college in my freshman year.
Did you know that the director of of this game, of operations for this game and a few other ones, is taking a 6-month hiatus, and then he's going to be somewhere else in the company?
Is this because he was doing things he shouldn't be doing?
I don't know. He just says that he was taking a 6-month hiatus. I'll have to look. I'll dig into it and see if I can find more news.
That sounds mega sketchy. But also, burnout is real. Who knows? Yeah. What was the other thing I wanted to say about this? I don't
looks pretty.
remember. I just I don't know. Avatar never hooked me.
It was cool when they did the 3D, but that was cool. I don't know. It was cool when it came out, but it's
right. The
they
3D,
never followed up.
The 3D was like at the time really awesome.
Yeah.
And the movie itself was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But the whole story was a wash of Pocahontas, like
Or
Oof.
Dances with Wolves.
Oof.
yeah, or like just getting those repeat stories with nothing additional except this really beautiful visual. And I remember taking my grandmother to see it, and like she was grabbing at the things in the air, and she thought it was so cool. But like that was it, right? That was the whole movie, was the cool effects. And you can't just land on that. That's why like developing this world could be very cool, because I don't think they got into it enough. But they're not. They're just going to bring the war theme back rather than just living in this planet.
Living in the world.
Don't get me wrong, the mechs are sweet.
We gotta give. I mean, Sam Worthington needs more. He needs some jobs. I haven't seen him in any
I forgot about him.
like B movies in a while, so I don't know if he's still acting. But he was in the Clash of the Titans. He was in Avatar.
He was in Terminator.
He was in Terminator, Salvation, and then after that, who knows? He's probably somewhere. Sam.
Well, I mean, we talked about him.
He's probably an avid listener.
Yeah, we talked about him on the podcast, so somebody will pick him up. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a break. Stick with us when we come back. More from E3. All right. Hello and welcome back to the second half of the GameBrew podcast, episode 111. Chris, you were drinking some Pils-Boh Baggins, but it looks like you've got a fresh brew in your cup. Talk to us about it.
That's right. I've got another pun-based beer name for you.
I'm so happy.
Yay.
I'm so happy.
This is the Mango Fett.
Oh.
Wow. Good.
So this is a sour ale with mango and passion fruit flavors.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
And it is... I'm usually not a sour fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's so sour.
You sour monkey. It's just a sour. Oh, it's just a sour Mandalorian. Oh.
That's right. This is pretty drinkable though. Like it's not too in your face with the puckery souriness.
Okay, it's not too bitter, one might say.
No, it's not bitter.
No, sour. The word is sour. The word we're looking for is sour.
Yeah, but I don't know. It kind of gives you like that nice salivation that feels a little sweet afterwards, which is nice.
Okay.
It's like a Sour Patch Kid.
It's pretty good. Super refreshing. I like it.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
For a sour, it's pretty good. It's from Tall Tales Brewing Company. Also a Maryland.
And the Mandalorian say, this is the way.
That's right.
Way.
This is the way.
Oh, it's so sour, but it's the way.
Any other updates on beers?
It's still the same. It's the same middle of the road. It's a beerness that I keep getting from it. So, no.
All right. In that case, let's talk about exciting stuff. Dan, I want your reaction to the Tiny Tina's, was it Wonderlands? Did I write that down right? Tiny Tina's Wonderlands?
It's
trailer?
Tiny Tina's, Wonderlands, which, awesome. Like,
awesome?
Well,
what are you most excited about?
I'm excited because it's more Borderlands stuff. Specifically because it, like, speaks to the Dungeons and Dragons sort of thing, because it's based off of the Borderlands 2 DLC.
Assault on Dragon Keep.
There it is.
Yeah, Assault on Dragon Keep. Because basically it's like Tiny Tina basically came and made
an adventure.
It was like a D&D
type adventure.
It was like a new D&D style adventure where you were playing, I forget what the name that you were playing. It was like strongholds and something else. I'm really doing a bad job. I'm so sorry. This is gonna be annoying. But I like that because it's like it's fantasy content mixed with Borderlands content, because Borderlands is already so batshit crazy that whenever you throw fantasy stuff into it, like Butt Stallion was in the trailer, and Butt Stallion is everybody's favorite crystal unicorn made of diamonds.
Yes.
So that is just great. Also, the voice acting cast is
that's
crazy.
Phenomenal.
Like, Andy Samberg's going to be in it.
Wanda Sykes.
Which I just watching Harley Quinn on HBO, like the DC series, the Harley Quinn series, and she plays the Queen of Fables in that. And I love Wanda Sykes. She's great. She could be in it.
And Will Arnett.
Batman in Lego Batman.
Also from Arrested Development.
Call them the dogs. Listen to them bark.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just really excited because it's the goofy, ridiculous Borderlands stuff that we kind of want, you know? If you like Borderlands, you like that goofy, out of the box sort of thinking. So
I'm a little worried that it's going to fall into like the pre-sequel bin.
I hope not. I also kind of like the pre-sequel. I'm one of those weird people who I kind of like it regardless, you know?
All right.
So I'll probably like it no matter what happens.
Me with Bethesda games.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the other thing that we're likely to like regardless. Elden Ring got a trailer with a bunch of gameplay and also some more trailery things, and holy shit snacks.
Did it live up to the hype?
More?
Well, we don't know until it comes out, but
the trailer lived up to the trailer.
It looks like more Souls-like things, and we like those.
But with George R.R. Martin somehow doing something.
He like built the world and I think wrote a lot of the story stuff. So that's really cool. I'm a little bit okay. So the thing I'm worried about here, or maybe not worried about, but the thing to keep in mind here is that from what we saw of the trailer, it looks like the skins on everything are a little like our current gen. Like it looks like it was built for Xbox One and PS4, not Xbox One SX/PS5, which I think is going to end up being a good thing because in an open world, did you like that, Dan?
There was so many like prefixes and things in it. My brain stopped working for a second.
I think like with an open world, you really want to focus on stability and like building the world out in a way that's believable and not so much like throwing all that text stuff to worry about in there too. So I think that's good.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, those games have never been known for being the prettiest games. Like, they're more about, like, technical aspects, I guess, and gameplay. So I'm not too worried about that.
As a person who has no opinion of George R.R. Martin, because I have never delved into his stuff.
He's a person.
I don't Game of Thrones. I don't, my heart wasn't broken. But what I'll say is, like, what this trailer told me and what I am excited about in this game is I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, even in the things he's done, like he builds great worlds. And
sure does.
This feels like somewhere I want to be. Like this feels like how I felt when I got, Lord of the Rings Two Towers and was playing it. Like it feels like that kind of experience where I want to live in that game. And that's enough to keep me going probably through the game, no matter what else is happening.
Right.
Okay.
The interesting like gameplay buzz with this game is that compared to previous Dark Souls titles, stamina is less of a thing. Which,
hooray!
Yeah, is always it's interesting. I wonder how then they're like it's still. To be clear, stamina bars are still totally going to be a thing, so you won't just be able to like spam attacks. But what they have said is that it has less of an effect on how you do combat.
Well, I think that might be because of kind of how Sekiro kind of went, because there wasn't really a stamina bar in Sekiro. Instead, you had your like the like you
stance
could block,
armor
you could like block and like defend things to a certain degree before your stance was broken. So I think that gave them the option to be like, we can do different things and people might still like this.
Hey, Bloodborne,
just take blocking out altogether.
Yeah, and they said there's going to be some kind of stealth in there, but that seems much more optional, and honestly will probably be half-baked open world stealth, as tends to be. One of the also unexpected outcomes of this that I think about is that all of the things that are happening on Reddit until the Elden Ring trailer drops are like their ending, which makes me a little sad because a lot of them were super cool.
There were a bunch of people who were just like beating crazy boss encounters in Dark Souls 3 every day until the Elden Ring trailer dropped in different ways. So like not leveling up or just with sorceries or just whatever. And then other people like doing cool art stuff. So all that's over now, but thanks for all those content creators. It was fun.
Well, maybe they'll just switch it to until Elden Ring comes out.
Okay, so open world stuff. Let's jump over to the yet untitled Breath of the Wild sequel.
Breath of the Wild 2. Electric
Untitled.
So, Breath of the Wild was real cool, but I felt like it was kind of more of like a tech demo in a way.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
You felt like Breath of the Wild was a tech demo?
Yeah. No, I get it.
In a little bit of a way. And so I really hope that they make some meaningful changes to it. It's not just Breath of the Wild in a new space. If that makes sense.
I have a feeling it's probably going to be Breath of the Wild 2. Here's more Breath of the Wild.
Me too.
But I really hope they fix the item stuff. Like the item stuff was interesting, but got super annoying, items? Super fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
I can see that.
No. To that.
No. Yeah, I don't think they will. I agree.
I'm going to speak as Ted Bowser here, and I'm just going to be like, no.
So the reason I think they might do this because they're for Skyward Sword, they're making it so I can play it with a controller. So they seem to be making me happier. So I'm hoping that they're going to continue to make me happy.
They literally only listen to Chris about his happiness level. And guys, I just got to tell you, they're going to fix this.
There's a whiteboard in Nintendo HQ that just says what Chris wants, and then there's bullet points, and they're just crossing.
No bullet points, just a smiley face about his happiness level and where he's at.
And right now it's like a slight, like
they need to fix it.
It's like slightly up.
Well,
at the corner.
It's going up a little bit because Skyward Sword.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So the original, there was like a teaser trailer that came out a couple of years ago that heavily featured Zelda in like adventure suit Zelda.
Yes, adventure suit Zelda.
Okay.
And I got
like
really
Zero Suit Samus, adventure suit Zelda.
Well, she has her shake, which is like, I don't know, battle suit Zelda. Anyway, I got excited that Zelda was finally going to be the protagonist in the series of games titled after her. And then I was made sad because it's just Link doing Link stuff again.
Well, but also I think it was fun how they quelled those rumors by just throwing her off a cliff, like in the beginning of the trailer. It was just like, oh, no. I was like, Zelda. Everyone was like, oh, Zelda's going to be the main character. That's going to be great. And then the very first thing that happens, you see the Ganondorf tentacles, and then all of a sudden you see her going off the cliff. It's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it.
Isn't that so Nintendo in so many ways?
It really
where
is.
It's just like everyone's screaming, hey, give us this. Like, we would really like to see this. Like, yeah, we like the same shit over and over again, and we're going to buy it, which is the problem. But if you don't do that, we'd buy more of it, maybe. How about that? And they're just like, no. This is working. We're going to continue.
They're like,
I promise this is what you want.
They're like, this isn't on the list of things that Chris really likes, so we're not gonna worry about it.
We like, you will get Mario, you will get Luigi, you will get side characters in these other games. You will not get them in a main story.
Speaking of, though, WarioWare.
Mm-hmm. It's true, but like, yeah, that's its own thing. I'm just saying, like, I don't know, taking the adventure story and making like Peach and Daisy or something, like, wouldn't that be just interesting and inclusive and very cool to do as its own standalone game and call it, like, I don't know.
The Legend of Zelda. Call it the fucking Legend of Zelda.
take Peach.
No, call it the Legend of Link.
Yeah, the Legend of Link. He's somewhere.
Oh, like, you have no idea how much I would jump all over that game. Like, I would be so hyped that they were doing that. And I'm not even the biggest, like, nut for that series. But I would go all in on that game because they were doing that. I think that's why the series had lost its luster to me, because it was just the same thing over and over again. And it's like, yeah, it was good, but like, I don't know, give me something.
Throw me a friggin' bone here.
Throw me a friggin' bone here. The bones they did throw us was that it's sky, like there's Skylands.
Oh.
And it looks like there's like some new like tablet powers that you can use, like chaining things together, which is interesting.
That's so Nintendo, guys.
Yeah.
Like,
This
see
is
how
so
bored we
Nintendo.
sound about this? Like, come on, Nintendo. You can do
This is the most Nintendo thing that Nintendo could have done. That's it.
Skyward Sword was the most Nintendo thing they could have done.
Yeah, just
Fair enough.
here's what you already played, but again,
Please give us more money. Thank you.
I don't know. They also did do. I mean, speaking of adding in random characters you didn't think you wanted, Mario plus Rabbids, the new game. Coming from them and
Ubisoft. Yeah, that's cool. That's probably the best thing Ubisoft is. Honestly, they're probably making more money from the rights to Rabbids in Mario games than they are from any of their own first party shit at this point.
I mean, has anyone taken a look at Far Cry 6 though?
Far Cry 6.
Okay, yeah. So Far Cry 6, go ahead, Chris. Tell us about Far Cry 6. I'm excited.
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to talk about
Yeah,
it. I
it's-
just want to say Far Cry 6.
Far Cry.
I don't know. They have a good voice actor doing the main villain.
Yeah, Giancarlo Esposito's in there.
Yeah, he's great.
Which he actually said, he's like, I wouldn't say he's a villain. In his mind, he doesn't seem like a villain, so it might not be a bad guy.
Exactly what the
Or maybe
kind of-
it's like a
Carlos.
pagan min type of situation here.
That's true. But did you see the DLC that they're talking about for it?
They're already talking about a DLC for this
They're
game?
talking about
It's not even
DLC
out.
for Far Cry 6 where it's going to be you playing as villains from the previous Far Cries, like Voss and Pagan, and the guy from the America one. I don't remember what his name was.
That's because he...
Seed.
Yeah.
So what I'll say about the Far Cry series, and this one is no exception in watching this trailer, like, they are movies I want to watch. Like, when I see the trailer, I'm like, I'm invested in the characters, in the plot. There's just something about these games that pulls you into it like it's a movie and you get to play it, but it's not like a choose your own adventure kind of idea. You know what I mean? Like there's just something about it I can't put into words quite right, where I watched that and I would be stoked if that was a movie releasing. I'd be watching it. So I'm going to play this game because I want to see what happens.
Right.
And it's not that like, I think the Far Cry games, as far as like what they do, they're just shooters, right? Like there's nothing really breaking an amazing
they kind
mold
of
there.
add some like novelty to it. Like in this one, it looks like you have like a backpack that can shoot rockets and stuff like that. It looks like you can have a pet battle chicken or battle rooster in it,
or battle handy.
Like for actual battles, or like you have it and it's like the mini game is cockfights.
No. It's like it comes in
so
and ruins dudes. I think Far Cry 5 had like a dog in it at some point. This is like this is a rooster. It's a battle rooster.
Yeah, which I mean, give me a pet and I'm in.
An
but
ass-kicking chicken, if you will.
but yeah, I don't know. Like other than those like little tiny things, I guess, which is something good because I think, as far as a whole, like the genre needs some freshness. But what those games bring to the table for me is the story, is the plot, the characters. Holy shit. Their villains are some of the best villains. And that's it. Like they aren't just villains a lot of the time. Like there's just more to them. It's not like I'm just pissed and want to do something. Like there's so much like mental energy that you get from where their mindset is and how they get here and why. Yeah, I don't know. It's just very interesting. I'm excited in that sense, even though like Far Cry isn't something I talk about a lot.
I agreed. My concern is that I felt really compelled about like the setting and the villains for Far Cry 5. I thought it could have been a really radical move to go to Montana and tell a story about like radical, Christian people who are trying to break away from the United States, right? Like this could have been a really interesting story if it had any kind of nuance or interest, and then it didn't.
Yes, I mean, you're not wrong.
I feel like they chickened out.
They did. They totally
Yeah,
were like, we
failed.
have this great idea, and then just completely.
I think it was
swapped.
more. But I do think it was more radical Americanists. I don't think Christianity had anything to do with it. Just to
Well, sure. Even that would have been a really interesting.
because the
story,
guy
but I think
started his own religion. He didn't. It wasn't.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. But even that would have been more interesting had they followed through on some of those themes and really had
really
something to
followed
say
through on
about
it.
them instead of just like bad people are bad and these are really bad people, so it's really bad.
So bad.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Sequels. Let's do more sequels. Forza Horizon 5.
It's pretty cars.
It looks really, really pretty.
It does look really
And it's
Next
in
gen
Mexico.
Yeah.
See,
That's what you expect out of Forza, right? I'm your resident car game girl. No, but like honestly, just from my lack of knowledge, I don't think I need a lot. Like these games, my brothers loved them when I was growing up, so I did at least have secondhand knowledge. And in it, every time they bought a new one, it was the same thing. You just got different cars.
Mhm.
And it
Actually,
looks
it's not even
prettier.
that. It's usually just like a slightly different year of the same car.
Well, and that's the thing. Different cars in that sense. So that's kind of it. And they look prettier. And that's it. Like, keep going.
And like the sound and like the, I don't know. Forza's like a master, like Forza's taken what Gran Turismo did and like has mastered it, I feel like.
really.
Like,
good.
they do a great job. I really like, I usually have like one time a year I go into a Forza game for a couple of weeks and I really enjoy it.
But I feel like Forza, these car games are just sports games. Like they're the same thing, just about different topics.
It's
100%.
sports games for car people.
And those are games Allison will never get into because when you just make me buy a new game for different teams or
but this
different
one's in
cars,
Mexico.
I'm just like,
but Allison, it's in Mexico, is what he said.
I hear. And
Did you hear the part about where it's in Mexico?
Will Allison get into Redfall? Which is
my
like
100%.
yes. Oh, that game is so mean. I'm so excited. You're taking like it feels like any kind of Left 4 Dead-y, like meets
Left 4 Dead plus
meets
vampires.
Apex.
Apex
Sure.
Left 4
Just
Dead
as-
vampire murders.
Yes.
So yeah,
Like,
are we 100% sure it's going to be like a Left 4 Dead style game?
It very much seems
So,
like that. Yeah.
it says it's an open world multiplayer, like horde kind of
Maybe it's
game.
more
So,
like
yeah.
a remnant from the ashes sort of thing.
Remnant from the Ashes, I wouldn't call open world. It's more like
Gears of War, maybe.
I'm thinking. Okay, imagine this. It's like
bring us in. Dave,
it's
bring
like
us in.
the Division, So there's like instances around, but you have powers like you do in like
Dishonored.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
And then you also have 4 people who can be on your squad of different types, like Remnant. So it's kind of like that, where it's like open world, like as
I see what
like
you're
a
saying.
Peter Molyneux style open world,
I'm intrigued. I want to learn more about it, but like the concept is cool.
The concept is cool.
Love
It's
vampires.
arcane.
I watched Blade yesterday. Fucking love
I
vampires.
thought the characters that they showed were super cool, and like you could tell they were individuals. They all had like their own motivation. The little robot doggo was fucking great.
I think that's where I got like the Left 4 Dead vibes.
Yeah, because they had personalities.
Each of those characters had these really set personalities that were big, but they were like people you knew, like they were people that could be actually in front of you, but in this extreme scenario. And I feel the same way about this game. And so I'm so hype about it. I want this to be awesome. I'm so hopeful.
All right, talk about your other mega hype, Allison, and then I'm going to go to one of the boys for the next thing.
Wait, which mega hype? I have a list of things if we had time.
Oh my gosh, just give us one then, and we'll do more.
Okay, because I have like a lot of things that I don't think are on our list because they're like more small studio, indie, maybe. Yeah, really quickly. I just wanted to talk about Replaced.
Yes. So this is mega on the list.
Okay, good. Replaced pixel art, stunning high resolution. Like, it's weird to say that high resolution pixel art is what it looks like. I'm really into pixel art, guys. Really into it. So
I really hope it's not a to be continued style game, which a lot of the ones that are like this, a lot of the high res pixel art games tend to be like to be continued at the end, and then we don't get a continued afterwards.
Yeah, it's I guess the one thing, so this is by Sad Cat Studios. The one thing that makes me nervous about this game is how ambitious it looks. And this is their first game.
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
It looks great.
It looks amazing, and I want to see more. Yokai Inn, which is by Shiba Pixels.
Like a demon hotel.
Well, it's inspired by like Animal Crossing Harvest Moon, so it's a Allison like perfect
game is made for Allisons.
Yes, slice of life simulator where you take care of spirits and monsters. You do like your basic tasks like you do in Harvest Moon. Really excited about that. Looks really cute. Another pixel art game.
It does look super cute. Look at that.
Yes, it looks so good.
Oh my gosh.
Somerville.
So with an O?
Yes. I think Ian will be really excited about this because it's a new studio called Jump Ship Studio, and they are the same co-founders for Play Dead. I don't know if you guys know.
I don't.
So Limbo, heard of it?
Oh, yes. Yes.
So I don't know the story. I don't know why. I didn't have time to do all the research, but the same co-founders are now doing this studio, and they're really worried this game's actually going to go under the radar, I've read, because they're not with their old studio, but it's just got the same atmospheric like quality to the game. It's a puzzle platformer and adventure game.
And you play as the family, right? You don't play as a person. You play as like the family, as a group of people, and it's
Which, I love games that do something different like that.
Yeah, that's super cool.
And then the only other thing I wanted to touch on that I had on my list was really quickly, Fatal Frame Made of Blackwater.
Yes.
Here's why it's important to me. Here's why it's important to me.
Fatal Frame.
I didn't play this game.
You never played that one?
I haven't because I never had a Wii U. I couldn't afford a Wii U when it came out. So I'm so excited I finally get to play this one because you know how I feel about Fatal Frame.
We do. I can't wait for you to give us a gushing review.
And Trek to Yomi.
Trek to Yomi.
Yomi. Right. What did we decide? How does that
I think it's Yomi. It's Yomi.
Yomi, probably.
Yeah. Okay. They don't really say my. Or it would be
Which is a
AI.
Devolver.
Yeah.
That's a Devolver game. So it's not as small, obviously. But I think it looks gorgeous.
It's like side-scrolling,
samurai,
black and white.
side-scrolling, black and white. Like, it's really aesthetically pleasing, and I'm digging it.
It's like, imagine watching a samurai movie from the 70s, but you're playing it, and it's a side-scroller.
Yes. And I really grew up on those. So I'm excited to see what that game comes to be.
Oh,
okay,
wow.
I'm
cool.
done.
Wow, that was super fast.
And concise.
Thank you, I tried.
I think we might have the most mixed feelings about Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin, which sounds like a Final Fantasy game that would be like about drinking Mai Tais or something, but it's not.
It's about wearing t-shirts and defeating chaos.
Using big swords. So basically every
I have to beat chaos
game ever.
Okay, so to set the stage a little bit better, this is being developed it's a Final Fantasy universe game being developed by Team Ninja, who worked on Ninja Gaiden, obviously, and the Neo games.
Yeah.
So it could be cool.
It could be good. Depends on like what they do. Right now, it just looks like a guy in a t-shirt swinging swords around.
Yeah, and what they've like kind of the press about it is a lot about like, oh, it's Final Fantasy, but it's Dark Souls, but it's Final Fantasy. And I'm like, does Final Fantasy really need to do Dark Souls? And also, if they were going to do that, they should have cashed in on that shit like 5 or 6 years ago, or in between Dark Souls 2 and Dark Souls 3. Like,
and also,
where are you been?
Also, it's supposed to be a prequel to Final Fantasies. Like, it's supposed to be like before Final Fantasy 6 or something like that.
So this is the big thing that makes me want to hold an opinion on this game.
Yeah.
Because that's not necessarily true, and they are very confusing on what is true about that fact.
That's right.
Because everything I found, like there's a quote from Nomura that says, "Stranger of Paradise is not a direct continuation to Final Fantasy I's story," which is what I had assumed.
Okay.
But a new story inspired by it. The trial version consists of a part in the beginning of the game, which you enter the Chaos Shrine, which is the same as in Final Fantasy I. The game is inspired by Final Fantasy I. The setting is based on Final Fantasy I as well. Where did the Warriors of Light come from, and who are they? Something you find out in the ending of Final Fantasy I. So it's like set actually in the world of
Final Fantasy I.
But it's not a direct prequel,
Because
sequel,
technically it's
nothing.
the end of
in the world.
one, but it's there.
You find out the information like you're in one. Some of that, he's basically saying. Like, it's in this world. You will find out the same end result as you did in Final Fantasy I during this game.
Maybe,
but it's not the same.
Maybe the Kingdom Hearts writers were bored and they were like, we need more.
Right, that's where I'm at. I'm like, guys, no, why do we got to do this stuff? So anyway, I'm holding a lot of my opinion because plot is so important in Final Fantasy for me, and
we gotta see.
I do feel like they're going to Kingdom Hearts this shit and make me mad. But
Chris, do you have any feelings about T-shirts in relation to this game?
I mean, I know that they're for them in this game.
They've been for them since Final Fantasy 14 or 13.
7.
Excuse me.
What are you talking about, dude?
No, I guess
who wears a T-shirt in 7?
I mean, I guess Cloud's shirt isn't really.
I
think that they kind of did the high fashion stuff. Started in like Final Fantasy 13. I really think it was that one, and then 15 was hot. Was
whatever. It's dumb.
Give me armor. I want armor.
I mean, I don't know. You got 10
gratuitous armor. I played Warhammer 40,000.
Or even like
it was all about passion.
Armor.
Final Fantasy VIII was all about
Darksiders.
Like,
Perfect.
Oh, I loved that. Yeah.
Final Fantasy IX was all about tails. If you didn't have one, you ain't nobody.
That's true.
Okay, let's talk about Babylon's Fall. Which is Paradox Studios. Is that right? Platinum Studios. Thank you. Not Paradox. Paradox doesn't seem right.
Makes 4 X's.
Right. Yeah. By Platinum Studios, which is the same people who worked on Nier Automata.
Also Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, which is one of the most ridiculous games.
Great, awesome. Fabulous. So they're talking about like sort of an Eastern European like sort of hack and slash beat 'em up sort of game. What did you all think?
I mean, Platinum makes a great, very satisfying combat usually. So looking forward to that. You can do it with your buddies. Also looking forward to that.
That's good.
I don't know. The setting looks fine. It looks good. So
looks fine.
Generally, in general, it looks cool.
Okay. I guess Dan, we're going to end. Well, it could be that there's more thrown out there after this. But Dan, the last thing I have on my list is going to you. It's the Guardians. I was going to say gardeners.
The Gardeners.
That's in the trailer.
That's actually one of the.
That's
jokes,
one of the jokes in the trailer. The Gardeners of the Galaxy. That's not.
I let Groot do the paperwork.
Oh, I get it. It's funny.
Well, Guardians of the Galaxy by Square Enix, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy, technically.
And it's by the Eidos Montreal studio, so the same people who worked on the Deus Ex games.
Yeah. So I'm worried about it because...
why are you worried?
I'm worried about it because it's very similar to the kind of stuff that we got from the Avengers whenever it came out, where I'm worried that it's not going to be completely done whenever they release it. It looks like, and it looks good. It looks very much like the Guardians of the Galaxy from the comic books that I like. I really like the Guardians of the movies are great. The movies are great. They do a great job at like making the Guardians of the Galaxy be people. It's really good. The comic book ones are even crazier than the ones that are in than the ones that are in the movie. So they do a really good job of making that, especially how horny Star-Lord is. Like, you don't really get how horny Star-Lord is in the movies. Like, they
toned that down.
Like, they toned down. It's like, oh yeah, there's like the one girl who's pink, but like at the very end of this trailer, whenever you see there's like a tentacle wrapped around his neck, and then he's like leaving. He's just like, no, I'll call you. It's just like the most Star-Lord thing that ever should be. So I'm worried about it, just because I'm hoping they don't push it out too fast. I want them to get everything right, and I want them to make it good and fluid. I don't want them to have this sort of Marvel's Avengers on their hands.
Yeah. Allison, yes, please.
But I think that might be to their detriment too. I think that's what I want. That's what Dan wants. Yeah. We want to see this, but I think most people modernly associate Guardians of the Galaxy with the MCU. And I think that people are going to be pretty immediately turned off by the trailer because they're not getting that.
Why is Chris Pratt so good?
Right. I think people are just going to disregard this game. I'm not going to lie. It's not.
We'll really like it. It's like the Deadpool of video.
I feel like Spider-Man games do something that no other superhero games can do, which is take the comic book versions and make them mainstream to people.
Okay.
I think that in order to make a successful superhero movie in modern climate, you need to base it on the movies because that's what mainstream knows.
Yeah.
I kind of appreciate that it's not the same because I like it because it's not. I like that it's not the same because it makes it different. But it'll age better that way, I think, because it's going to be its individual thing and not connected to the movies. Right. What if the movie's garbage? And then the next movie for some reason, or then it would just shell the game for no reason. But
I just think they're so beloved now.
I just don't like direct game tie-ins to movies that are using,
I feel you.
I get it.
Chris
don't
is still
do
feeling very
license.
burned by Nintendo's ET port.
Aren't we all?
Atari's ET port? What are you talking about?
My bad.
The ET
or the reverse
port.
version, the Super Mario Brothers movie.
In general, movie tie-in games aren't good unless they're Lord of the Rings games.
I mean, you're not wrong. I'm just thinking from a marketing standpoint. I think it's going to be a hurdle to climb, and I think it's the same hurdle. I mean, name another superhero movie or game that's done really well that's not based on a movie.
Batman.
Good call.
Spider-Man.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, I said Spider-Man.
You win, okay, Chris? Jeez.
But Batman is a good point. Point. But I would argue a lot of that came out before the popularity of Batman.
No, not the Arkham series.
I disagree. The Arkham series came after the Christian Bale Batman.
Okay, I couldn't remember, to be honest, because my date timeline is bad.
Well, yeah. I think that it's interesting that from a gameplay perspective, you control Star-Lord the whole time, but you also kind of give orders or make suggestions to the rest of the team.
Yeah, it might be like a kind of Dragon Age sort of thing, where it's your Star-Lord's the main character, but you have these other people that you can you can kind of swap through or give them directions what to do.
And I thought the visuals and the acting were really compelling too. Yeah. So I'm kind of I'm pulling for this one.
I need to look up the
I'm excited about it. I really am. I'm not sure it's going to make a splash. I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Okay. Any other things from the E3 wrap up that we want to talk about? I know there was a ton more that we didn't get to, but
also, sorry, one last thing for that. Will Friedle's going to be Star-Lord, so never mind. I'm back in. I'm all in. I love Will Friedle. He's great. He was Eric on Boy Meets World.
Okay, of course.
Yeah.
Eric.
Yes. I thought you were just saying Will Ferrell. Funny.
Will Friedle. But I just wanted to point out that I'd been saying for the last year or two that they should make a sequel to A Plague Tale. And they are.
Oh yeah.
A Plague Tale Requiem. So I'm very excited for that because it was a super underrated first single player story game, adventure game, and I'm very excited to play the sequel to it.
All right. Well, that's it for our E3 wrap up. That was great. Good job, everybody. And if you have a game that we did not talk about, or you want to disagree with us about how stinking good
The Avatar game is going to
The Avatar game is gonna be.
Or if you just want to tell Allison, she's so right.
I mean, that's all
That would be
anybody
fine,
ever does
too.
is just say, Allison, you're so right.
Because
She is, but it's annoying. Keep doing it.
you can do it. You can do it on our Facebook, on our Instagram. On Discord is actually a really great place. bit.ly/discobrew. Come hang out with us there. I think that's going to be it for us. Good night. So say good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. All right, stop on shop. Stop on shop.